Okay, let's start off with our PO medications. Remember that when you're doing dimensional analysis, you want everything to look like a fraction, and we're going to be working it like when you cross multiply. However, I'm going to make it as simple as possible so that everybody can learn how to do it. So you always want to know what your order is, how it comes, and what it is contained in. So our order is for ibuprofen, 800 milligrams. It comes 200 milligrams per tablet. And so all of that information is important. So we want to set it up to where it looks like a fraction, and we want to start with the very beginning. The easiest thing to remember is that every line or every bit of information has its own column. So we're going to start with the ibuprofen of 800 milligrams. And we're going to put that by itself. And then in the next spot, we want the 200 milligram tablets. Now, like I said, this is like cross multiplication, and we want to make sure that our labels are going to cancel. So I want to make sure that my milligrams is now on the bottom instead of on the top. So I'm going to put my tablet on top. And on the bottom, I'm going to put my milligrams, my 200 milligrams. And so as you see, we have all of the information that we need. We've got the 800 milligram order, and then we have how it comes, which is 200 milligram tablets. Now, like I said a while ago, the big thing is that you always want to be able to cancel your labels. And so I tell everybody, cancel labels before you ever go into the math. So we're going to start with our milligrams, and we're going to cancel. Now, anytime you cancel, you do something to the top and something to the bottom. If you do it to the top, you have to do it to a bottom, and it only goes 1 and 1. So I canceled a milligram on the top, a milligram on the bottom. Now, I could take this further and take out zeros if I wanted to, and there's 1, 2 zeros on the top, 1, 2 zeros on the bottom. Now, if you don't want to take out zeros, that's fine. I take out zeros because they tend to get mixed up on the calculator. So at that point, what you have now is 8 divided by 2 tabs. And so when I take 8 and divide it by 2, then that gives me 4 tabs or tablets. So that is my answer. So if my order is 800 milligrams, it comes in 200 milligram tablets. I'm going to get 4 tablets. Now let's try one that with a different medication, one more that has some decimal points in it. Remember, with your decimal points, you always lead with a decimal, never follow with a decimal. So if I have like 0.5, like in this order, I will always put my 0 in front of it. That way I don't lose that decimal point. But I would never put that 0 behind it because then it could be mistaken for 50 instead of 0.5. So always lead with a 0, never follow. So on this one, we have 0.5 milligrams as our order. So again, we're going to put that over 1. And then in our tablet, we have 0.45. Oh, milligrams. That's important because we're fixing to turn right around and make sure that our labels cancel. We're left with what we want. We want to know how many tabs we're going to give. And so that is what I have left over. So then all I have to do is divide. And so what I end up with is my 0.5 divided by 0.45. And when I divide the two of those, then I get 1.111111 to infinity. And so I can't give a part of a tab unless it's a scored tab. Then I could give half, but I could never give a 0.1 of a tab. So I'm going to round that. Anything less than 5 is going to round down. Anything over 5 is going to round up. So for this one, I'm going to give 1 tab. Now let's do one that has some conversions on it. This just adds another step to it. Again, we have our same columns for every piece. So we start off with our 0.45, but we have grams this time over 1. Then we have a tablet with 30 milligrams. So I know that I'm going to have a conversion in here. And so I've got to make my grams cancel. So if I want to put my conversion in here, I can. And so my conversion here would be a gram is 1,000 milligrams. And my grams are on bottom so that they cancel. I can flip that milligram and gram conversion any way I need to so that it'll cancel. And so then my next part is 300 milligrams per tablet. So I know that my tablet's going to go on top and my 300 milligrams is going to go on the bottom because I want to be able to go in and cancel. So my grams cancel, my milligrams cancel, and I'm left here with a tablet, which is exactly what it's asking for. So when I do my math, I can also take out my zeros to make it easier. I've got 2 zeros on the bottom, 2 on the top. So then all I have to do is multiply my 0.45 times 10, which is going to give me 4.5. And then on the bottom, all I have is 3. So now I'm going to take my 4.5 and divide that by 3. And so I'm getting 1.5. Now, like I said a while ago, if we can give a half a tablet as long as the tablet is scored. So assuming that this is scored, then I would be able to give 1.5 tabs. Okay, so now let's do another one for practice. This has a mixture of decimals and whole numbers. And again, it has a conversion on it. So we're going to start off with the 800 milligrams. Now you notice on this one that it says POQID. That just means that you're going to give this dose 4 times a day. So that is not necessarily information that we need to determine how many capsules to give. So then next we see that it's going to be in grams. So I'm going to add my conversion in here. And here my milligrams is on top, so I want my milligrams on bottom. So I know that 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. So then my next one is going to be what my label is, which is 0.4 grams per capsule. I know from looking at my labels that I want my grams on bottom. So I'm going to put my capsule on top, my 0.4 grams on bottom. Then I'm going to double check by canceling out my labels, my milligrams, my grams, and that way I know that everything is in the right spot. I don't have anything turned upside down. So then I'm going to go ahead and take out these 2 zeros there. And so there again, now all I've got to do is my math. And so when I go to the math part, I'm going to have 8 on the top, sorry, and then 10 times 0.4 on the bottom, which is a 4. So then 8 divided by 4 gives me 2 capsules. Now let's try one where we have some orals on there. Here we're going to be putting it in milliliters instead of tablets or capsules. So it's set up the exact same way. We have 300 sorry, the pen don't want to work. And then I put the wrong thing. Let's try this again. I have 324 milligrams. And we're going to put that by itself. Now then, I see that the next part is 160 milligrams per 4 milliliters. So I want my milligrams to cancel. So I'm going to put my 4 milliliters on top, my 160 milligrams on bottom. I'm going to double check by canceling my labels. My milligrams cancel out. I'm left here with mils, which is what I want. So then all I have to do is do my math. And so I have 324 on the top times 4, which gives me 1,296. And then on the bottom, I just have the 1 times the 160, so I just have 160. And so when I divide the 1296 by 160, I get 8.1 milliliters. So now let's try another one. Here we have something that is not a normal that we see except for with potassium and milliequivalents instead of milligrams or grams that you're used to seeing that I've just done. But it still works the same way. Our top is 60 milliequivalents. That's our first one. Then on the bottom, or the next column, we have 40 ml equivalents and 15 mils. It's just like anything else. It has to be the exact same, canceling on the top and the bottom. So we want that milli equivalents on the bottom. So our top is 15 milliliters over 40 milli equivalents. And so again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cancel our labels so we know that we're set up right. Then we're going to work our math. And when we work our math, we have 15 on the top times 60, which gives us 900. On the bottom, all we have is the 40, so we've got 900 divided by 40, which gives us 22.5 milliliters, because that's what we have left. Now, I didn't cancel zeros on that one. I could have canceled these two zeros and then just did the 6 times 15 divided by 4. I just would have ended up with 90 divided by 4. It still would have come up with the same thing. So let's try another one. I want to make sure that y'all get this. This one looks a little different because we have the milliliters, but we also have the conversion in here. So our first one, we have Tegretol, which is 0.25 grams by itself. Then we know that we have milligrams on the next one. So I want to put my conversion in here. And I know I need my grams to cancel. So I'm going to put it on the bottom, my 1,000 milligrams on top. Then I'm going to put my milligrams for my label on bottom, because I have 100 milligrams and 5 milliliters. So there, I'm going to cancel. Remember, cancel our labels. My grams cancel. My milligrams cancel. I'm left with milliliters. Now, I'm definitely going to take some of these zeros out because that's a bunch of zeros. So I'm going to take 2 off the top, 2 off the bottom. So then all I'm left with at that point is the math. And what I have for the math is 0.25 times the 10, because that's all I have left, times 5, the 5 mils. On the bottom, all I have is 1 left over, so it's basically 12.5 over 1, which we all know is just 12.5. So my answer is 12.5 milliliters. Let's try one more. On this one, we have 0.1 milligram. We're going to put that over 1. Then we have 2 milliliters and 0.5 milligrams. I know I set it up right because my milligrams cancel. So then I'm going to do my math. And when I do my math, I have 0.1 times 2, which gives me 0.2 over 0.5 And so I end up with 0.4 milliliters. So I have my milliliters at the end, and that's what I needed. That's what it was asking for, was milliliters. I hope this helps.